Confined, Your Majesty.
Chapter 5. Law of Thought Transmission. He sent his word and healed them, and delivered them from their destructions. He transmitted the consciousness of health, and then awoke its vibratory correlate in the one toward whom it was directed. He mentally represented the subject to himself in a state of health, and imagined he heard the subject confirm it. For no word of God shall be void of power. Therefore, hold fast the pattern of healthful words which thou hast heard. To pray successfully, you must have clearly defined objectives. You must know what you want before you ask for it. You must know what you want before you can feel that you have it. And prayer is the feeling of the fulfilled desire. It does not matter what it is you seek in prayer, or where it is, or whom it concerns. You have nothing to do but convince yourself of the truth of that which you desire to see manifested. When you emerge from prayer, you no longer seek, for you have. If you have prayed correctly, subconsciously assume the reality of the state sought, and by the law of reversibility, your subconscious assumptions must objectify that which it affirms. You must have a conductor to transmit a force. You may employ a wire, a jet of water, a current of air, a ray of light, or any intermediary whatsoever. The principle of the photophone, or the transmission of voice by light, will help you understand thought transmission, or sending a word to heal another. There is a strong analogy between spoken voice and a mental voice. To think, it is to speak low. To speak is to think aloud. The principle of the photophone is this. A ray of light is reflected back in a mirror and projected to the receiver at a distant point. Back of the mirror is a mouthpiece. By speaking into the mouthpiece, you cause the mirror to vibrate. A vibrating mirror modifies the light reflecting on it. The modified light has your speech to carry, not as speech, but as represented in its mechanical correlate. It reaches its distant station and impinges on a disc within the receiver. It causes the disc to vibrate according to the modification it undergoes, and it reproduces your voice. I am the light of the world. I am. The knowledge that I exist is light by means of which what passes in my mind is rendered visible. Memory, or my ability to mentally see what is not objectively present, proves that my mind is a mirror, and so sensitive a mirror that it can reflect a thought. The reception of an image in a memory in no way differs as a visual act from the perception of my image in a mirror. The same principle of the seeing is involved in both. Your consciousness is the light reflected on the mirror of your mind and projected in space to one of whom you think. By mentally speaking to the subjective image in your mind, you cause the mirror of your mind to vibrate. Your vibrating mind modifies the light of consciousness reflected on it. The modified light of consciousness reaches the one toward whom it is directed and impinges on the mirror of his mind. It causes his mind to vibrate according to the modification it undergoes. Thus, it reproduces in him that has mentally affirmed by you. Your beliefs, your fixed attitudes of mind, constantly modified your consciousness as is reflected on the mirror of your mind. Your consciousness, modified by your beliefs, objectifies itself in the conditions of your world. To change the world, you must first change your conception of it. To change a man, you must change the conception of him. You must believe him to be the man you want him to be and mentally talk to him as though he were. All men are sufficiently sensitive to reproduce your beliefs of them. Therefore, if your word is not reproduced visibly in him toward whom it is sent, the cause is to be found in you, not in the subject. As soon as you believe in the truth of the state affirmed, results follow. Everyone can be transformed. Every thought can be transmitted. Every thought can be visibly embodied. Subjective words, subconscious assumptions, awaken what they affirm. Their living active shall not return unto me void. but shall accomplish that which I please, and shall prosper in the thing whereunto I sent them. They are endowed with the intelligence pertaining to the mission and will persist until the object of their existence is realized. They persist until they awaken the vibratory correlates of themselves within the one toward whom they are directed. But that moment the object of their creation is accomplished, they cease to be. The word spoken subjectively in quiet confidence will always awaken a corresponding state and one for whom it is spoken. But the moment its task is accomplished, it ceases to be, permitting the one in whom the state is realized to remain in the consciousness of the state affirmed or to return to its former state. Whatever state has your attention holds your life. Therefore, to become attentive to a former state is to return to that condition. Remember, not the former things, neither consider these things of old. Nothing can be added to man, for the whole of creation is already perfected within him. The kingdom of heaven is within you. Man can receive nothing except be given him from heaven. Heaven is your subconsciousness. Not even a sunburn is given from without. The rays without only awaken corresponding rays within. When the burning ray is not contained within a man, all the concentrated rays in the universe cannot burn him. Where the tones of health not contained within the consciousness of one whom they are affirmed, they could not be vibrated by the word which is sent. You do not really give to another. You resurrect that is which is asleep within him. The damsel is not dead, but sleepeth. Death is merely a sleeping and a forgetting. Age and decay are the sleep, not death. Of youth and health, recognition of a state vibrates or awakens it. Distance, as it is cognized by your objective senses, do not exist for the subjective mind. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there shall thy hand lead me. Time and space are conditions of thought. The imagination can transcend them and move in a psychological time and space. Although physically separated from a place by thousands of miles, you can mentally live in the distant place as though you were there. Your imagination can easily transform winter into summer, New York into Florida, and so on and so on. Whether the object of your desire be near or far, results will be the same. Subjectively, the object of your desire is never far off. Its intense nearness makes it remote from the observation of the senses, and consciousness is closer than breathing and nearer than hands and feet. Consciousness is the one and only reality. All phenomena are formed of the same substance vibrating at different rates. All is consciousness modified by belief. Out of consciousness, I, as man, came, and to consciousness, I, as man, returned. In consciousness, all states exist subjectively and are awakened to objective existence by belief. The only thing that prevents us from making successful subjective impressions on one at a great distance or transforming there to here is our habit of regarding space as an obstacle. A friend 1,000 miles away is rooted in your consciousness, though your fixed ideas of him. To think of him and represent him to yourself inwardly in a state you desire him to be, confident that this subjective image is as true as though it were already objectified, awakens in him corresponding state which he must objectify. The results will as be obvious as the cause was hidden. The subject will express the awakened state within him and remain unaware to the true causes of his action. Your illusion of free will is but ignorance of the cause which make you act. Prayers depend upon your attitude of mind for their success and do not upon attitude of the subject. The subject has no power to resist your controlled subjective ideas of him unless the state affirmed by you to be true of him is the state he is incapable of wishing as true of another. In that case, it returns to you, the sender, and he will realize itself in you. Provided the idea is acceptable, success depends entirely on the operator, not upon the subjects who, like compass needles on their pivots, and quite indifferent as what direction you choose to give them. If your fixed idea is not subjectively accepted by the one toward whom it is directed, it rebounds to you from whom it came. Who is he that will harm you, if ye by followers of which is good? I have been young, and now I am old. Yet I have not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. There shall no evil happen to the just. Nothing befalls us that is not of the nature of itself. A person who directs malicious thought to another will be injured by its rebound if it fails to be subconscious accepted. A person who directs a malicious thought to another will be injured by its rebound if he fails to get subconscious accepted of the other. As ye sow, so shall ye reap. Furthermore, what you can wish and believe of another can be wished and believed of you, and you have no power to reject it. Furthermore, what you can wish and believe of another can be wished and believed of you, and you have no power to reject it if one who desires it for you accepts it as true. The only power to reject a subjective word is to be incapable of wishing a similar state of another, to give presuppose the ability to receive. The possibility to impress an idea upon another mind presupposes the ability of that mind to receive the impression. Fools exploit the world. The wise transfigure it. It is the highest wisdom to know that in living universe there is no destiny other than that created out of the imagination of man. There is no influence outside of a mind of man. Whatsoever things are lonely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there by any virtue, and if there by any praise, think on these things. Never accept as true of others what you would not want to be true of you. To awaken a state within another, it first must awaken within you. The state you would transmit to another gets transmitted only if it believed by you. Therefore, to give is to receive. You cannot give what you do not have, and you have only what you believe. So to believe a state as true of another not only awakens that state within the other, but it makes it alive within you. You are what you believe. Give, and ye shall receive. Full measure, pressed down, and running over. Giving is simply believing. For what you truly believe of others, you awaken within them. The vibratory state transmitted by your beliefs persists until it awakens corresponding vibration in him of whom it is believed. But before it can be transmitted, it must first be awake within the consciousness of the transmitter. Whatever the belief pertains to self or another does not matter, for the believer is defined by the sum total of his beliefs or subconscious assumptions. As a man thinketh in his heart, in the deep consciousness of himself, so is he. Disregard appearance and subjectively affirm as true that which you wish to be true. This awakens you the tone of the state affirmed, which in turn realizes itself in you and in the one whom it is affirmed. Give, and ye shall receive. Beliefs invariably awaken what they affirm. The world is a mirror wherein everyone sees himself reflected. The objective world reflects the beliefs and subjective mind. Some people are self-impressed best by visual images, others by mental sounds, and still others by mental actions. The form of mental activity in which allows the whole power of your attention to be focused in one chosen direction. It is to cultivate until you bring all the play of your objective at the same time. Should you have some difficulty in understanding the terms visual images, mental sound, mental actions, here is an illustration that should make their meanings clear. A imagines he sees a piece of music, knowing nothing at all about musical notations. The impression in his mind is purely visual image. B imagines he sees the same piece, but he can read music and imagine how it is sound when played on the piano. The imagination is mental sound. C also reads music and is a pianist, and he imagines himself playing the piece. The imaginary action is mental action. The visual images, mental sounds, mental actions are creations of images. The visual images, mental sounds, and mental actions are creations of imagination, and though they appear to come from without, they actually come from within yourself. They move as if moved by another, but are really launched by your own spirit from magical storehouse of imagination. They are projected into space by the same vibratory law that governs the sending voice or picture. Speech and images are projected not as speech or images, but as vibratory correlates. Subjective mind vibrates according to the modification it undergoes by the thought and feeling of the operator. The visible state created is the effect of the subjective vibrations. A feeling is always accompanied by corresponding vibration, that is, a change in expression or sensation in the operator. There is no thought or feeling without expression. No matter how motionless you appear to be and reflect with any degree of intensity, there is always an execution of slight muscular movement. The eye, though shut, follows the movements of the imaginary object, and the pupil is dilated or contracted according to the brightness and the remoteness of the objects. Respiration is accelerated or slowed according to the course of your thoughts. The muscles contract correspondingly to your mental movements. This change of vibration persists until it awakens a corresponding vibration in the subject, which vibration then expresses itself in a physical fact. And the word was made flesh. Energy, as you see in the case of the radio, is transmitted and received in a field, a place where changes in space occur. The field of energy are one and inseparable. The field a subject becomes the embodiment of the word or energy received. The thinker and the thought, the operator and the subject, the energy, the field are one. Where you still enough hear the sound of your beliefs, you would know what is meant to be the music of the spheres. The mental sound you hear in prayer as coming from without are really produced by yourself. Self-observation will reveal this fact, as the music and the spheres is defined as the harmony heard by gods alone, and is supposed to be produced by the movements of the celestial spheres. So too is the harmony of subjectively hear of those others heard by you alone, and is produced by the movements of your thoughts and feelings in the true kingdom or heaven within you.